Hello. WinUI provides developers with a powerful toolkit for creating modern and intuitive user interfaces. In this guide, we will walk through the process of creating a fully functional media player using WinUI, starting from the basics and ending with the integration of key control elements. XAML. Let's break down each line. Grid. The grid element is used to organize content in a grid layout, where elements are arranged in rows and columns. Grid.row definitions. This element defines the properties of grid rows. Row definition height equals auto. This grid row will adjust its height according to the size of its content. Row definition height equals asterisk. This grid row will take up all available space not occupied by other rows with fixed size. Row definition height equals auto. This grid row will also adjust its height according to the size of its content. Menu bar X name equals menu bar. The menu bar element represents the application menu. It is placed at the top of the grid. Grid row equals 0, and aligned vertically to the top. Vertical alignment equals top, and horizontally to the left. Horizontal alignment equals left. Menu bar item title equals file. This is a menu item with the title file. Menu flyout item icon equals play. Click equals play file menu item underscore click. A menu item with the icon play, and a click event handler play file menu item underscore click. Menu flyout item keyboard accelerators. This element defines keyboard shortcuts for quick access to the menu item. Keyboard accelerator key equals P modifiers equals control. This element sets the control plus P key combination for quick access to the menu item. Menu flyout separator / menu flyout separator. This is a menu separator that adds a separator between menu items. Menu flyout item click equals menu flyout exit underscore click exit / menu flyout item. A menu item, exit, with a click event handler menu flyout exit underscore click. Grid row equals 1 background equals black, a grid element of the second row of the grid, which is used to place other elements, in this case with a black background. Image source horizontal alignment equals center vertical alignment equals center, an image element displaying an image with the media player logo. The image is loaded from the file /assets /WinUI media player logo.png. It stretches uniformly, stretch equals uniform, and is aligned to the center both horizontally and vertically. Horizontal alignment equals center, and vertical alignment equals center. Media player element X, name equals player. The media player element is used for playing media files. It is named player. Autoplay is disabled. Autoplay equals false, and it also stretches uniformly. Stretch equals uniform. There is also a pointer moved event handler. Media player element context flyout. This element defines a context menu for the media player element. Menu flyout, a menu element that will be shown when right-clicking on the media player element. Menu flyout item text equals play. Click equals menu flyout play underscore click. A menu item play with a click event handler menu flyout play underscore click. Menu flyout item text equals pause. Click equals menu flyout pause underscore click. A menu item pause with a click event handler menu flyout pause underscore click. Menu flyout item text equals properties, a menu item properties without an event handler. Grid X name equals control panel. Grid row equals 2 point rendered equals control panel underscore pointer entered. Pointer exited equals control panel underscore pointer exited. A grid element named control panel placed in the third row of the grid. There are also point rendered and pointer exited event handlers. Grid.row definitions. This element defines the properties of rows in the inner grid. Row definition height equals auto. This grid row will adjust its height according to the size of its content. Row definition height equals asterisk. This grid row will take up all available space not occupied by other rows with fixed size. Row definition height equals auto. This grid row will also adjust its height according to the size of its content. Grid row equals 0. Vertical alignment equals bottom. A nested grid element placed in the first row of the inner grid and vertically aligned to the bottom. Grid.column definitions. This element defines the properties of columns in the nested grid. Column definition width equals auto. This grid column will adjust its width according to the size of its content. Column definition width equals asterisk. This grid column will take up all available space not occupied by other columns with fixed size. Column definition width equals auto. This grid column will also adjust its width according to the size of its content. Text block X name equals text block position. A text block element named text block position, placed in the first column of the nested grid. It is horizontally aligned to the right and vertically centered. It displays the text midnight with a font size of 14. Slider X, name equals player slider, a slider element named player slider, placed in the second column of the nested grid. It is configured to display a scroll bar ranging from 0 to 100, with an initial value of 0. The slider stretches horizontally and is vertically centered. There are also loaded and pointer moved event handlers. Text block X, name equals text block remaining time, a text block element named text block remaining time, placed in the third column of the nested grid. It is horizontally aligned to the left and vertically centered. It displays the text midnight with a font size of 14. Grid row equals 1 margin equals 5 0 5 0, a grid element placed in the second row of the inner grid, with margins of 5 pixels at the top and bottom, and 0 pixels on the left and right. Grid.column definitions, this element defines the properties of columns in the inner grid. Column definition width equals asterisk, this grid column will take up all available space. Column definition width equals asterisk, this grid column will also take up all available space. Column definition width equals asterisk, this grid column will also take up all available space. Text block X, name equals text block file name, a text block element named text block file name, placed in the first column of the inner grid. It displays text, which is currently empty, and is vertically centered. Stack panel grid, column equals 1, horizontal alignment equals center orientation equals horizontal, a stack panel element placed in the second column of the inner grid. It is horizontally aligned to the center and has a horizontal orientation. Button, a button element. Font icon glyph, a font icon element displaying a symbol with the code E892, representing an icon. Button click equals button play underscore click, corner radius equals 30, border thickness equals 0, another button element with a click event handler button play underscore click, rounded corners with a radius of 30, and no border thickness. Image X, name equals play pause image source equals /assets play.png, an image element named play pause image, displaying an image from the file /assets play.png. Button, another button element in the third column of the inner grid. Font icon glyph, a font icon element displaying a symbol with the code E893, representing an icon. Stack panel grid, column equals 2, horizontal alignment equals right, orientation equals horizontal, another stack panel element placed in the third column of the inner grid. It is horizontally aligned to the right and has a horizontal orientation. Button X, name equals repeat button, click equals repeat button underscore click, a button element named repeat button with a click event handler repeat button underscore click. Font icon X, name equals repeat icon glyph, a font icon element named repeat icon, displaying a symbol with the code F5E7. Button, another button element. Font icon glyph, a font icon element displaying a symbol with the code E994. Button flyout, a flyout element that will be displayed when the button is pressed. Flyout, a flyout element representing a pop-up menu. Stack panel, another stack panel element. Slider X, name equals volume slider, a slider element for controlling volume, named volume slider, with a minimum value of 0, maximum value of 100, initial value of 50, width of 150, and a handler for value change event. Button click equals full screen underscore click, a button element with a click event handler full screen underscore click. Font icon glyph, a font icon element displaying a symbol with the code E740. C# code. Private dispatcher timer, declaration of a private variable of type dispatcher timer named timer. Private bool is seeking equals false, declaration of a private variable of type bool named is seeking and initialization with the value false. Private bool is control panel pointer entered equals false, declaration of a private variable of type bool named is control panel pointer entered and initialization with the value false. This title equals WinUI media player, setting the window title. Player.mediaplayer.playback_session.position changed plus equals playback session underscore position changed, binding an event handler of position changed of the playback session object to the playback session underscore position changed method. Player.mediaplayer.media opened plus equals media player underscore media opened, binding an event handler of media opened of the mediaplayer object to the media player underscore media opened method. Timer equals new dispatcher timer, creating a new dispatcher timer object and assigning it to the timer variable. Timer interval equals time span dot from seconds, 5 setting the timer interval to 5 seconds. Timer tick plus equals timer underscore tick, binding the tick event handler of the timer to the timer underscore tick method. Private void media player underscore media opened, declaration of a method that is called upon successful opening of a media file for playback. The method takes arguments, sender, the mediaplayer object that raised the event, and args, event arguments, not used in this case. Dispatcher queue.try enqueue, using the dispatcher queue to enqueue an operation for execution on the UI thread. This is necessary because UI updates should be performed on the UI thread. Player slider maximum equals player.mediaplayer.natural duration.total seconds, setting the maximum value of the player slider to the total duration of the media file. Private void playback session underscore position changed, declaration of a method that is called upon playback position change in the media player. If not is seeking, player slider value equals sender position.total seconds. If the user is not seeking the slider, then set a new value for the slider based on the current playback position. Text block position text, updating the text in text block position displaying the current playback time. Time span remaining time equals sender.natural duration, sender position, calculating the remaining playback time by subtracting the current playback position from the total duration of the media file. Text block remaining time text, updating the text in text block remaining time displaying the remaining playback time. Private void button play underscore click, declaration of a method that is called upon clicking the play/pause button. If player.mediaplayer.current state equals media player state, playing checking the current state of the media player. If it is playing. If player.mediaplayer.can pause checking if playback can be paused. If the player can be paused. Play pause image source equals new bitmap image, new URI, assets/play.png, setting the play icon on the play/pause button. Player.mediaplayer pause, pausing the media player. Else if player.mediaplayer.current state equals media player state, paused if the media player is in a paused state. Play pause image source equals new bitmap image, new URI, assets/pause.png, setting the pause icon on the play/pause button. Player.mediaplayer play, resuming playback in the media player. Private void repeat button underscore click, declaration of a method that is called upon clicking the repeat button. Private void full screen underscore click, declaration of a method that is called upon clicking the full screen button. var window handle equals window native.get window handle, getting the application window handle using the get window handle method from the window native class. var window id equals win32 interop.get window id from window, getting the window identifier from the handle using the get window id from window method from the win32 interop class. var app window equals app window.get from window id, getting the app window object from the window identifier. If player.isFullWindow equals false checking if the player is in full screen mode. Player.isFullWindow equals true, setting the player to full screen mode. Menu bar visibility equals visibility collapsed, hiding the menu bar element. AppWindow.setPresenter, AppWindowPresenterKind.fullScreen setting the presenter for the window to full screen player. Timer start, starting the timer that hides the control panel after some time if the mouse pointer is not over it. In case the player is in full screen mode. Timer stop, stopping the timer to prevent the control panel from hiding. Is control panel pointer entered equals true, setting the flag is control panel pointer entered to true. Player.isFullWindow equals false, setting the player to the default mode, non-full screen. Menu bar visibility equals visibility, visible, displaying the menu bar element. AppWindow.setPresenter, AppWindowPresenterKind, default setting the presenter for the window to the default mode. Private void timer underscore tick, declaration of a method that is called on each tick of the timer. Private void volume slider underscore value changed, declaration of the volume slider underscore value changed method, which is called when the volume slider value changes. Private async void play file menu item underscore click, declaration of a method that is called when selecting a menu item to play a file. var file picker equals new file open picker, creating an instance of file open picker, which allows the user to select files from the file system. FilePicker.viewMode equals picker view mode, thumbnail, setting the view mode to display file thumbnails when selected. FilePicker.suggested start location equals picker location id.videos library, setting the preferred location to start browsing files, in this case, the videos library. FilePicker.fileTypeFilter add, .mp4, adding filters for the types of files the user can select. In this case, file extensions .mp4, .avi, .mkv, .mov, .wmv are added. var hwnd equals winrt, interop.windownative.getWindowHandle, getting the application window handle. WinRT, interop.initialize with window, initializing file openPicker with the window it's associated with. Storage file equals await filePicker.pick single file async, waiting for the asynchronous operation of selecting a single file by the user with filePicker. If file is not null, checking if a file has been selected. If a file is selected, var media source equals mediasource.create from storage file, creating a media source from the selected file. Player source equals media source, setting the created media source for playback in the media player. Player.mediaplayer play, starting playback of the media file. Text block file name, text equals file.displayName, displaying the name of the selected file in the text block file name element. Play pause image, source equals new bitmap image, new URI, assets/pause.png, setting the pause icon on the play/pause button. Private void menu flyout play_click, declaration of a method that is called when selecting the play menu item. Private void menu flyout pause_click, declaration of a method that is called when selecting the pause menu item. Private void player_pointer moved, declaration of a method that is called when the mouse pointer moves over the player. Private dependency object getElementFromParent, declaration of the getElementFromParent method, which takes two arguments, parent, the parent element from which the search begins, and child name, the name of the child element being searched for. Int count equals visualTreeHelper.getChildrenCount, getting the number of child elements of the parent element using the getChildrenCount method from visualTreeHelper. Iterating through all child elements of the parent element. var child equals visualTreeHelper.getChild, getting the ith child element of the parent element using the getChild method from visualTreeHelper. If child is framework element child framework element and child from your kelement.name equals child name, checking if the current child element is a framework element object and its name matches the search name child name. Return child, returning the found child element. var findRes equals getElementFromParent, recursively calling the getElementFromParent method to search for an element inside the current child element. If findRes equals null, return findRes. If the element is found inside the current child element, return the found element. If the element is not found in any of the child elements or inside their child elements, return null. Private void player_slider_loaded, declaration of a method that is called when the slider is loaded. var slider thumb equals getElementFromParent, searching for the slider thumb in the visual tree interface using the getElementFromParent method. The searched element has the name horizontal thumb. If slider thumb is not null, checking if the slider thumb is found. If slider thumb is thumb, checking if the found element is of type thumb and casting it to this type. Thumb.pointRentered plus equals thumb_pointer_entered, adding an event handler for the pointRentered event for the slider thumb. Thumb.pointerExited plus equals thumb_pointer_exited, adding an event handler for the pointerExited event for the slider thumb. Private void thumb_pointer_exited, declaration of a method that is called when the mouse pointer exits the slider thumb. Private void thumb_pointer_entered, declaration of a method that is called when the mouse pointer enters the slider thumb. Private void player_slider_pointer moved, declaration of a method that is called when the mouse pointer moves over the playback slider. Pointer ptr equals e.pointer, getting the pointer object that initiated the event. If ptr.pointerDeviceType equals pointerDeviceType, mouse checking if the event source is mouse pointer movement. Pointer point ptr point equals e.getCurrentPoint, getting the current pointer point relative to the slider using the getCurrentPoint method. If ptrPoint properties.isLeft button pressed, checking if the left mouse button is pressed during pointer movement. If isSeeking player.mediaplayer position equals timespan.from seconds, if the isSeeking flag is set to true, updating the media player playback position according to the current slider value. This only happens if the user is currently dragging the slider thumb to seek a specific playback moment. E.handled equals true, marking the event as handled to prevent further handling of the same event by other handlers. Private void control panel_pointer entered, declaration of a method that is called when the mouse pointer enters the control panel area. Private void control panel_pointer exited, declaration of a method that is called when the mouse pointer exits the control panel area. I hope this guide will not only help you master the skills of interface development in WinUI but also inspire you to create innovative and unique applications capable of meeting the needs of even the most demanding users.